So normally I start off every video with a little kind of funny and silly bit, but instead I'm going to start this video off with the sponsor plugs. Today's video is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc. as well as Moxfield.com. I love Moxfield. I store all my deck lists there. I'm going to have links to 3 of their deck lists in today's videos. And Cool Stuff Inc. is a great place to shop if you need cards. Promo code ThrabenU will save you a little bit on your order. And now we have the rest of this fire video without any interruptions. Hello folks, Phil Gallagher, aka ThrabenU here for another Legacy video. And today an anonymous donor has pitted me against BoshNRoll, aka Brian Coval, in a battle to the death. It should be a lot of fun. So Brian and I are each going to select 3 decks that we think are sort of good examples of the sorts of things we like to play and that you might see on our channels. Both of us will be releasing these videos at the same time on the same day. So if you like what you see on my channel and you want to see Brian's deck techs and Brian kind of puzzling through things on his side, a link to his channel will be in my video description. Brian and I work together quite a bit. We're sharing a panel at MagicCon Chicago on Friday morning, kind of first thing after the event opens up, and we are co-hosts together on the Eternal Glory podcast. If you like what I'm doing, please check out Brian's content. Let's take a look at the first deck that I've decided to play. For round 1, I've chosen to play Goblins, and in round 1, we are going to showcase very powerful, like tier 1 deck lists. So BoshNRoll will be playing Sultai Beans. That is a bug control deck list. My build of Goblins here isn't anything new or groundbreaking in any capacity. I've opted to bring the Skirk Prospector build that can more quickly accelerate into the big stuff like Muxus and Namesticker Goblin. This is going to be slightly worse versus Orcish Bowmasters in particular. Otherwise, I probably won't really notice it's here, honestly. The 3-drop slot is where a lot of the power of this deck is, at least in the early game. I have the sideboard Magus of the Moons, which can be nice to stop Wasteland recursion if that's something that Brian gets going. But otherwise, since this is a deck we've seen plenty of times, let's just see how the match goes. All right, I've got a bit of a tricky hand here, and I'm going to pretend like I don't know what deck Brian is playing here. I can play turn 1 Skirk Prospector, turn 2 have 4 mana, but I just like Battlecry Goblin Activate or Goblin Ringleader. I think this is less good than something that just plays a 3-drop on turn 1 or turn 2. I'm going to mulligan this reasonable looking hand. And yeah, this is a much, much, much stronger hand. I will keep this one, probably just getting rid of the Shatter Skull Smashing. So again, Brian will be playing Sultai Beanstalk. That is a bug control deck list. And I think this land just ends up costing me life and is wastelandable. So I'm going to just bin that one and pass the turn. And we'll see if we get like Thought Seized on turn 1. We do. Brian has a couple different angles here. It's very possible that the Battlecry Goblin is the best thing that is currently in my hand. It's very easy for Namesticker Goblin to just, oops, do something incredibly broken if I top deck well, though. I think this is a really interesting decision. And part of this might depend on what Brian has in terms of removal, counterspell, all that jazz. And like the pause on Brian's ends here is kind of showing off how difficult a decision this is. Yeah, so there is the respect of Namesticker Goblin. And good thing Brian did that. So now I can play Goblin Rival Master in 2 days, which is what I am going to do. I can play Battlecry Goblin off basic mountain here, but I think I want to stay aggressive. And if I get Wastelanded off Ancient Tomb, I would like to be able to still cast Battlecry Goblin. And if nothing happens to my stuff, I get to just play... Oh, shit. Okay. All right. Here we go. We're fucking gaming, folks. New Namesticker Goblin. Let's see how we hit. Well, I think I just Battlecry Goblin. I think multiple Battlecry Goblin activations here are just really strong. I don't think I want to risk a single counter spell junking my stuff. Send them. We'll put the Rabble Master trigger on bottom, so the Battlecry Goblin trigger happens first. And there's a very large amount of damage here. I imagine that my opponent is going to do something like play Orcish Bowmasters and make this a little bit more salvageable. So they can ping one of these 3/1s here. And we'll see if Brian is absorbing damage or is trying to take out a body. Trying to take out the big old Rabble Master. That's fine. My opponent is at 6. I have Muxus looming and Battlecry Goblin. I may have just come out of the gates blisteringly fast. Note that in the game 1s in this series, we are going to be mulliganing as if we do not know the opposing deck in game 1. Trying to replicate that experience of just running into each other in a league, while still catering the matchups to have decent back and forth play. Sure. Alright, we're going deeper with Brainstorms. And I run Brian over in game 1. So based on what I'm seeing here with Bug Lands, Orcish Bowmasters, Thoughtseize, Brainstorms, that would be enough for me to deduce what Brian is playing. I know that I am playing against a Bug Control deck, and Bug Control right now means beans. I can consider Leyline of the Void for Murktide Regent. I can consider Magus of the Moon for just taking some free ones. My Skirk Prospectors are a little worse against a known Orcish Bowmaster deck. So I think I'm going to go down on those to play Magus of the Moon. If I had game 1 Chalice of the Void, I probably wouldn't want to play that here. I am not the biggest fan of Chalice versus Bug decks in general. They're just very good at answering it with, the Boseijus, Abrupt Decays, Pernicious Deeds, things of that general nature. And then from here, I get to think about whether or not I would like to play something like a Pyrokinesis to help get blockers out of the way. I think no. I think I'll keep one Skirk. Okay. This is a little weird. I think this one is going to be a keep. And the plan is win this game via Magus of the Moon. Something that I have to keep in mind for the post-sideboard games is that Hydroblast is a thing. Alright, I'm getting Thoughtseized again. So I can attempt a turn 1 Magus of the Moon with this hand if Brian does not take my Simian Spirit Guide. However, I have turn 2 uncounterable Magus anyway, so that's a thing. Okay, yep. So Brian was not ready to deal with turn 1 Magus, and potentially can deal with it afterwards. I will be putting this Cavern on human, and I don't currently have access to true red mana for these goblins. So does Brian have Wasteland? No. Hydroblast is a thing from here. I will be taking 2 to play this. Yeah, and I was expecting a response. Alright, so there's going to be some sort of fatal push on this, and then Brian gets another turn to try to deal with the second Magus of the Moon that is coming. Green? Oh, cycle. Sure. Basic Island helps out a lot. That opens up Hydroblast after Magus of the Moon. Kind of a big deal. I'm getting really lucky in dodging Wasteland here. I'm very, very, very happy about that. Murktide Regent is scary. So, is Magus still the plan, or do I need to pivot? Go to 16, play Magus and Broadside. Attack for 2, opponent is at 15. Can I out-aggro from there? Maybe? I can play Ringleader, try to find Muxus. I need red for Muxus that I currently don't have. So, I think I am going to go this route. So there's Magus. There's Broadside. Menace means this doesn't get blocked. Brian's at 15. And this is going to be tight. I'm at 10 here. 4 is good. Let's Ringleader. Could get dazed. Does not get dazed. I pick up Muxus and Skirk. Let's attack with all. Brian goes to 9. I guess I'm just going to fling at the Murktide and kill it. I think this can go face, and I still probably win the game as well. But I think I'm just not going to take that chance. Broadside being able to kill Murktide is very dumb, and we take down this game. For round 2, we decided to play somewhat competitive deck lists. So I am going to be playing the Nic Fit deck that I somehow managed to snag a 5-0 with, and Brian is going to be playing some build of Sharkstill. That is blue, white, X, Shark, Typhoon, Land Still. It's a trip. So in case you didn't see this video the first time around, and it's a good one if you want to go back and watch it, we are going to be using Greater Gargadon, or maybe a Cabal Therapy, to sacrifice Veteran Explorer to ramp out extra lands, which enable us to play slightly overcosted cards, such as Titania, Protector of Argoth. Now, this can absolutely be an elemental machine, especially if you yeet all of your lands into your graveyard with a Greater Gargadon. And beyond that, we just are playing a solid Jund mid-range game, with Broadside Bombardiers being a great way to sacrifice your Veteran Explorer while also controlling the board. We can do some broken things here with Fury and Broadside, just like you can in a Red Prison or other red aggro deck. And we have a whole bunch of relatively annoying sideboard permanents, some of which, like the chokes, may be relevant in this matchup, although Sharkstill is sometimes a little bit lighter on islands than you might expect a blue deck to be, because we can see things like Urza's Saga popping in. Let's see how this one goes. All right, so now I should be playing against a Sharkstill deck of some kind. My hand just doesn't do anything. I'm going to take a mulligan here. This second one is fine. I am pretending like I don't know what Brian is playing. So let's just keep that in mind with my Cabal Therapy on turn 1. I'm going to keep this and pitch one. Actually, I probably keep both Fables. I don't have anything to fling with the Broadside right now that's particularly strong. Yeah, let's get rid of the Broadside. So if I am paired against Brian in the dark, my name is just going to be Brainstorm. Just pretty much whatever he is playing, I would expect it to have Brainstorm in it. And we miss, and there's some goodies over there. So there is the namesake card of the deck here in the form of Shark Typhoon. I will play a Veteran Explorer, and then we get to Cabal Therapy knowing what Brian has in hand. So I will sacrifice my Veteran Explorer to get 2 lands. So one of these is going to be red for Fable. The other will be black for Bowmasters. Now Brian is going to go up a few lands here and can produce a shark in response if he would like. He would not like. So what do? I'm kind of into taking the Supreme Verdict. I'm going to put a lot of crap into play. So let's just take that. And pass turn, and at some point I will play an Orcish Bowmasters. So if memory serves, this token is made first. And then Big Meanie Face comes into play. I'll ping the shark. Then the cycling happens, and I will ping Brian directly. And then Brian can use a Prismatic Ending to answer my Bowmasters, and then I'll start grinding value with Fable. All right, ending down. Island down. Currency Converter. Spicy. The other Prismatic Ending takes out the Orc. We're doing pretty well for ourselves, though. Do I want to Assassin's Trophy Currency Converter? Card is good. I think it's more important to get this going. And I think I will just make the land drop as well. I don't think I am looting away that land. So we're both going to kind of get to do our respective things at this point in the game. Staff of the Storyteller is revealed. All right. This card is not as great in an Orcish Bowmaster's world. Greater Gargadon. Oh, I can't draw more than one card each turn. Narset Strunk. So I'm always going to attack the Narset. We'll see if Brian wants to block. He does. So this Narset is valuable. So is the Staff of the Storyteller. Both represent a card here. I think I am into Assassin's Trophy on one of these things. I think both my cards are resolving. I would like to loot away this Gargadon. I think I'm going to take out the Narset. I'm not entirely sure that this is correct. Staff of the Storyteller is quite powerful, especially in multiples. But I'm pretty far ahead right now. And I think this is gone at this point. Oh, yeah, I would like to loot away both of these, please. Let's turn these into some new cards. Grist. Absolutely. I think I'm going to suspend this now in case things get a little bit weird. And I think I will do a post-combat Grist. Send them. Got some treasures. Oh, this is fine. Big Shark Energy. Big Shark Energy. So, currency converter gets a Shark Typhoon under it, which this triggers Staff of the Storyteller now. This 4/4 can potentially block one of my things, as can this 2/2. I am fine with this straight up trade. Go ahead and sack this to Gargadon. Take that trade. So now what do I do with Grist? Like, do I just throw this at the shark and keep the board clear? I guess let's see if it resolves first. It's very inconvenient if this last card is a Swords to Plowshares. I'll take out this shark and pass the turn. Take your card. So at some point, I can yeet my board to put a Greater Gargadon into play. I would prefer not to do that for a while. Like Titania being in play first would be ideal. Actual red mana? We have like 4th Aerlingas in here. I sure am not ready to beat that card. A Prismatic Ending. This is where like the Greater Gargadon is nice. Oh no, it's artifact, creature, or land? No! Alright. Ticks down. Good card is good. I'll go ahead and plus. And then pass the turn. So we see the same thing happening again. That was 4 mana, so this is a 2/2 shark. I'm just going to send this one upstairs. Ooh. Understood. I guess this comes into play as a 2/2. I can try to kill it instead of just going upstairs and producing the bigger body. All right. Now Brian's synergy is popping off. I'm going to lose Grist, which unfortunately is not a creature when it is on the battlefield. I can't sacrifice it to Greater Gargadon. But we may be in an, everyone has a plan until they get punched in the mouth by a 9/7 haster situation. Yeah, this was such an elegant control package before it just got bullied by Bowmasters. Yeah, my immediate need to loot away a Gargadon from my hand, and so I had to pressure the Narset means that, like, as this game goes on, things do get worse and worse for me. And we may be going down. Like, I can just rip a Titania off the top of my deck. Plains cycling for Eternal Dragon as well. Very nice. This is a creature token, so it doesn't apply to treasure tokens if that ends up being something that happens later. Yeah. Cards are good. Tick down Gargadon. Land is not great. I think I'll hold that. And I'm not going to attack. I can Gargadon. tramples, does not trample, in which case I'm not interested in doing it. So I need to keep this insect token alive so that a turn where I draw something like Titania, I can Cabal Therapy for Force of Will. That's going to be relatively important. But the copies of Staff of the Storyteller are just eating me alive right now. This is 7 damage per turn cycle. I don't have a lot of say about it. And I'm playing Nic Fit, so I don't have too much manipulation, especially with double Fable gone. Ooh, buddy. Oh no. This is a problem. Shark Typhoon can now come back every turn, which fuels both copies of Staff of the Storyteller and Currency Converter. I am officially in trouble. I think this one is over if I don't have a reasonable draw. Don't think Veteran Explorer counts. I think at this point, I can see the writing on the wall. I am willing to concede. GG. What do I have in my sideboard here? Chokes and Endurances, and to a lesser extent, Scavenging Ooze. Fury and Meltdown are not crazy. So I guess I want to start What Don't I Want from my Game 1 deck. The Greater Gargadons are a little rough here versus Infinite Chump Blockers. Those are probably going to go, unfortunately, and I don't get to live the dream of throwing a 9/7 at Brian's face for content. So how much do I want to hate on stuff? A decent amount, probably. I think I'm going to get rid of a Mana Dork here. The Veteran Explorers are a little less reliable here against white removal specifically. What if I don't play Veteran Explorer? What if I just like know that this game is going to go on for a while and do something that looks like this? Is this crazy person talk? This might not be crazy person talk. Me and my Green Suns are significantly weaker. Maybe I play 1? How many Furies do I want? 2? 2 feels reasonable. How good is Grist? Like, I know it's a Planeswalker versus a control deck, but it feels like it gets pressured relatively easily. All right, we have done a transformational sideboard into a pile of cards. I don't know if what I just did is good. Yeah, this is totally fine. So we are going to start out getting our good friend Dryad Arbor and passing the turn here. Green Sun can represent a new Mana Dork. Green Sun can represent Collector Oof. Yeah. I've got options. So given that I have a bunch of land in hand, I think I'm okay just Green Sunning for 2. And giving Brian the big oof. Got no Surd. That's reasonable. We'll see if I just get sharked, or stilled, I guess, rather. Spirit token coming at us. So I can play Bombardiers and like throw a Dryad Arbor. That feels weird. I think I'm just going to play an Endurance. And I'm just thinking about whether or not I need to play around Days. Would this deck have Days? Feels a little weird to have Days. I don't know that I want to make this trade, though. I think I'm just going to pass the turn. Sure. See what Brian's got for me. It is a new staff. And I unfortunately don't have a lot to say about that right now. Both of these get to tick up. Nice. Let's attempt an ambush. I don't necessarily expect it to go well. Oh, okay, cool. I'll take that block. And I think I'm going to go ahead and just thin a land out of my deck. I never need black. I rarely need red. I'm going to take another Taiga. Lots of 3-drops here. I get to pick one. I think I'm going to play my most value-oriented 3-drop here. And attempt to put the Fable into play. Send this. I don't think I want to make this trade. I will give Brian 3 life. Brian accepts. And I'll pass turn. A Supreme Verdict would kind of suck. Okay, cool. Not Supreme Verdict. This is good for me. I think my cards in hand are good enough that I'm not looting them away. At the same time, I also think I want to make my land drop. I have to respect Supreme Verdict clearing my board and then needing 5 or 6 mana for Green Sun for Titania or play Titania. Okay, no, that's totally reasonable. Yeah, that's fine. And I'm gonna go ahead and just do the fetch to thin thing here. I maybe should save it because of Titania, but I would like to make draws better. So yes, discard this one. Found a new land anyway. Am I playing this one? I'll play it. Let's drop Broadside and get our beats on. I think I'm not going to commit another Endurance to board. I think I'm going to go ahead and do this. Brian's at 12. I think I save Dryad Arbor rather than use it as Lightning Bolt. It's real close. I have to respect more creatures coming and Supreme Verdict at the same time. I think I'm going to send upstairs. Dryad Arbor is Bolt. Call it a turn. And got a decent amount of damage incoming. All right. Now, I don't have Endurance available right now because I did attack and throw Dryad Arbor. Plateau. This represents 1/2/2 body, which isn't that scary by itself. But the engine is churning over there. So I have a somewhat narrow window to close this game, I think. We'll go to my turn. Ooh. I like that. Let's attempt to get in for some damage. All right. So this can make a 2/2 blocker and put counters on Staff of the Storyteller. I think I am just going to send a Bowmasters before Brian has a chance to draw. Sure. Okay. So that'll go at Brian's face. These tick up. So Brian can block this, take 2, go to 7. I throw for 5. I think I'm just going to take the rogue token out of play. Target rogue. Throw this. I think I'm good to everything but Supreme Verdict. And letting him block the Endurance and then throwing that at face puts me in a slightly better position versus that. Brian's in a weird position because of the Bowmasters. Like, a single extra draw means that this Endurance becomes lethal. Yep. So there's 3. So now it needs to be Supreme Verdict plus something else. Okay. Play into outs. I respect it. All right. So we get there. So not island, not island, not island. Just mentally for choke purposes. Do I want to go down some number of chokes now? I still think they're pretty good. I maybe want one more Fury. Brian is making a lot of tokens. Like, do I just play 2 chokes? Maybe I play 2 chokes this game. They're a little bit worse on the draw. All right, my hand doesn't quite work, but is 1 mana source of just about any kind away from working. I think this is a keep, and I also think it's not a disaster if I miss on a land drop for a turn or 2. Never didn't have it. We at least have the 3rd land drop. It's not proper black mana, but there's some weird things I can do where I like evoke a Fury, Phyrexian Tower it to cheat on mana. I don't think I immediately melt down to just answer Currency Converter when this can just be a spell a little bit later that answers another critical card. My mana might be tight enough this game, though, where I just do it. Like, I'm always going to cast Choke next turn, and I would prefer to play Endurance or Fury after that. I think I'm going to take the 1-for-1 trade. A little weird. I'm very not sure on that one. It is a Narset. That's fine. I can Fury that if I feel like I need to Fury it. Staff of the Storyteller. Understood. Fable slightly worse in the face of Narset. I think I'm behind. I'm going to make the higher upside play accordingly. Ooh, we have choked Brian. I'm going to let him draw another card off the Narset and just intend on doing some other stuff. All right, Hydroblast and Staff of the Storyteller we know about. Okay, so Brian can potentially work towards Prismatic Ending to answer a choke now. So game is not over. So if I Fury, pitch a Fury, I can take out Narset and Spirit Token. Then Phyrexian Tower, have 4 mana, and play double Bowmasters, which seems kind of nutty. Yeah, I'm into this. Let's go. We'll do a 2-2 split. How does that sound? Phyrexian Tower, sacrifice Fury, leave open that. All Bowmasters, send it upstairs. Bowmasters, send it upstairs. I've got 4 power on board and the ability to really punish Staff of the Storyteller draws. With Fable coming, and the ability to sacrifice tokens to Phyrexian Tower if I need it. This has been a cool game. So this is the 3rd potential mana. 1 Bowmaster's down. 2nd Bowmaster's down. That is a lot of damage mitigation there. This is great for a little bit later. Not ideal for right now. So 14. And I'll drop Fable. Hydroblast is a thing. I'm okay trading. Hydroblast is blue. Okay. He's just going to take the draw. Does not accept the Hydroblast trade. That would take a land. And I'm good. So this Goblin Shaman is secretly very important because I need green for 2 different cards here. A lot of this, though, is just purely... Ooh, that's so good. Yeah, no. Problem solved. Veteran Explorer. Play. Sacrifice 2 mana, 3 mana, 4 mana, 5 mana, Titania. Don't actually get to return a land if I do that. I probably loot this away. I think I keep this. Ooh, a new Fable. Absolutely. Send in for 4. Brian goes to 9. I'm going to drop the new Fable. And just, like, keep these rolling. I get this one in under Hydroblast, which is kind of a big deal. This turn cycle is going to be scary for me, though. Because this turn represents Brian having unchecked mana for the first time. In, what, 4 turns or something like that? I'm also not quite there yet, but I do need to respect my own clock a bit. That is the Supreme Verdict. That's very good. Now Brian can play a Staff out or something. Hydroblast one of them. Sure. A Taiga. So this comes back. I don't have a land here yet for Titania. I think I'm just going to pass the turn with Endurance available. New land drop. Also, was this Staff this? It's possible that I just didn't X this out earlier. I think he still has one. We may be in a hard cast Force of Will situation. Nope. I will clear out the graveyard. A Bayou. I still haven't hit a fetch land, which is kind of annoying. So I guess we're just doing this. I'm going to put these back in my own deck. 6 damage incoming. Brian goes to 3. I don't think I'm going to put another card on board. I will play another land. It is a Brainstorm. I don't have Bowmasters. Swords is fine. I don't need to sack that creature. I will take the life here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can play Titania, copy, and go for a kill. 1 card left. Seems fine. I think if there's a removal spell left, you just send it at Reflection of Kiki Jiki. Non-legendary creature! Oh no. I shouldn't have done this pre-combat. Hydroblast. Okay, so that was the one from earlier. Alright. So, do you have a Mystic Sanctuary, Brian? No. All right, how good's that top deck, Brian? Also, can I draw a fetch land like before I send this into combat? That would be cool. That's not bad. Send it. Giant ass shark. It sure would be a shame if something happened to that shark in combat. Wouldn't it? So now Brian gets some redraws here. So redraw off the shark, followed by Brainstorm. That's a couple looks at a Swords to Plowshares to stay alive. It is the Swords to Plowshares. Brian lives another day. And I'll drop Fable. This is a lethal attacker again, so Brian finds 2 draws to answer this. All right, there's one of those draws. Oh god, it is a Comet Stellar Pup. Brian makes some blockers. Still in this game. Comet can get scary. I will absolutely loot through this. That is a turn late. I'm not interested in attacking into the squirrels. I'll pass turn. Uh-oh. Brian might have stabilized. That's a 6. Comet gets to reroll. That's a 4. Which is going to kill this goblin. And then Comet gets to reroll. Makes some squirrels. Triggers this. Disgusting. Yeah, Brian might have stabilized. I take 4 here. Brian has to chip through 30 life, but with Comet, that should happen pretty quickly. Fable happens. Fury's good. So I'll play this. The Great Force of Will or Hydroblast. Oh, a Shark Typhoon, sure. That's a 5/5. That doesn't get killed by Fury. 1, 1, 1, 1. Take out those squirrels. I do have to start respecting my clock a little bit. Spent a lot of time thinking through some weird lines. I'm not in any danger. Like, I don't think I am going to time out before one of us dies. Comet makes blockers. There needs to be a removal spell, though. Prismatic Ending. Okay, no, that's perfectly fine. All right. I take 5 in the air. Fury can't get through on the ground, and throwing away 1 squirrel is perfectly fine. Comet's loyalty is very high for the purposes of 4 and 5. These fetch lands are coming at the wrong time. Send at face. There will be a chump block. That's fine. I'm going to hold both lands. And here the exile-based removal starts to get a little scary. See what Comet does. Squirrels. And Comet's so good here. All right. Brian gets in a little extra damage. I've got some lethal top decks, but Brian has 5 cards in hand. It's a little unlikely that I can just close out the game immediately. Oof. That triggers both of those. Come on, deck. I mean, I'll attempt. I think it's too late. I can't really attack with this into all this shit. I think I'm just passing the turn, and I think Comet just death lasers me sometime in the next 2 turn cycles. See what happens. That's a 5. That's a direct damage one. So that can just go up my dome, and then I die in the air. Well played, Brian. Well played. GG's. And for the final round, we decided to play some jankier deck lists. And I had in mind to play Pox, but Brian called dibs on Pox. So I wanted to match the energy. So this last round is probably going to take a while. We are going to be playing Stax, or like my white MUD Stax deck versus his Pox deck. I'm not sure if he's going to be on mono black Pox or some sort of green black X Loam Pox. I'll find that out in a little bit. This is similar to a build I played on the channel a couple of weeks ago. I'm going to try out Thalia in the slot that I previously had Chancellor of the Annex. Chancellor makes the opening hands significantly better against combo decks in particular, but The white pips are going to be really hard to cast, and so they're really in the deck as just something to imprint under a Chrome Mox. I thought trying Thalia alongside like the spheres and thorns might end up being good. I swear I had 2 thorns in this deck list, but I guess not. Alright, they got cut from the previous version. Oh, that's right, I remember what I did. I went up some main deck Urza's Saga targets. Retrofitter Foundry was something the original deck's creator had suggested, and I moved a Pithing Needle to the main deck. That's why I don't have the extra thorns. Yeah, okay, I remember. Sorry, doing 3 deck techs in the same day is a little bit weird. So I've dropped the chalices from the main deck to help make the room for the Thalias. Again, Thalia kind of covers some of that thorn chalice ground. And this is probably going to be a weird one because Brian might wasteland me a bunch after I play out some spheres, which is like totes going to be awkward. But in the post-sideboard games, we're going to have a whopping 4 copies of Crucible of Worlds to kind of help out with repeated land destruction. So buckle up. This one's probably going to last a while. All right, Brian has informed me he is playing Loam Pox. I don't know that my hand is going to be particularly good in this matchup, but we're keeping these opening hands as if this is blind. And blind, I don't think I'd ever throw back a turn 1. Ooh, you are walkering. Sure. So this now probably means I want to play turn 2 creature, turn 3 creature. I think Brian just got under sphere, so I think I just let this go. I think it trips me up a decent amount here. Oh. Well, don't wasteland me, I guess. I've got a game 1 Pithing Needle if this Urza Saga somehow survives. Smallpox, Wasteland, potentially Sinkhole. This one, I think. Another Lily. Ghost Quarter. Rough. In good news, I do have a basic plains in the deck. I only have 1, though. So let's Ancient Den into Smith. Get a Lotus Petal. I'm fine playing that out, triggering this. I don't think Ingenious Smith makes it around the table, either due to Liliana minus or an actual removal spell. Actual factual Baron more warms my cold dead heart. Ooh, Brian's own Urza's Saga. Got it. Dark Writ. Dismember. Sure. I'll get rid of Shadow Spear here. So Liliana is in ultimate territory. Artifact or creature. And I don't quite have enough to play Lodestone Golem and then blink it. And I don't think it makes sense to just use this on Urza's Saga right now with Lily in ultimate territory. Yeah, this is a little unfortunate. If I'm on the play, I have a lot more agency to fight this, but I wasn't. So, -2 or ultimate. -2. Understood. And a spell? A Smallpox. Got it. Awkward. I think I'm discarding this one. And losing the Ancient Tomb. Top deck Pithing Needle! Damn, am I playing that? A little weird. I think I'm playing it. I can still cast most of my spells. Through Sphere. Brian's more constrained than I am right now. That's a nice top deck. That's a removal spell versus some of my smaller creatures. I mean, I'll play it out rather than discard it. But this does not feel good. Oh no. So Liliana is back up to ultimate territory. Well, alright. I have Retrofitter Foundry, which is pretty respectable. We may just see a value Liliana ultimate here. No. Keeping the Lily around. I'll make a 1/1. Urza Saga can help deal with that as of right now. Oh. Hello. That's good. Attack Lily, I think, is always happening. Yeah. Lily goes down to 6 loyalty. And then this happens. I Crucible. I will get back Urza's Saga. And we're now playing a very different game of Magic. Brian gets on board with Urza's Saga tokens first. Brian can potentially Pithing Needle and Urza's Saga here. So things get bigger. I think I need to activate this right now before this is potentially Pithing Needled. I think I'm fine losing the pedal. There could be a graveyard hate card of some kind coming as well. Alright, it is Needle. Is it going on Saga or Foundry? It is going on Saga. This is great. Alright, and then there's a Lily Plus. Oh, this is fine. I'll take that damage. Go to 14. A Mox Opal. Sure. So I don't have to activate Urza Saga anymore. I attack in, I poke Lily. I use 1 mana to turn the blocked Servo into a new creature. And then I use 1 mana to cast Mox Opal. Mox Opal is on. And I have at least 3 mana to untap this and potentially turn the flyer into a 4/4. That can use Lotus Petal. And I could just put this in tapped, or I can just have City and have more mana available for the next turn cycle, which I think I like. So, send at Lily. Sacrifice one of these. Deal 1 to Lily. Do I even need to play this? I don't even know that I need to play this and put another permanent in play for the purposes of Liliana Ultimate. So Urza Saga goes up. Now what? Maybe I should have untapped the Retrofitter Foundry on my turn. I wasn't like super actively thinking about Cabal Pit. Let's untap. Okay, junking the flyer. Yeah, realized that a little bit too late. If I make another Servo. Yeah. Well, let's make another Duder. And we'll see how Brian sorts this. Alright, it is recursive value permanents versus onboard stuff. What does my Urza Saga give me right now? Shadow Spear? How big are these creatures over there? 3/3s? I can have a 1/1 that I equip with Shadow Spear. I'm gonna sacrifice the top pile. I think I take some damage and end up on the better side of this, assuming no graveyard hate off this Urza Saga. Do I have 2 City of Traders? I do not have 2 City of Traders. Then I will just Ancient Den, Mox Opal, and activate this and call it a turn. This is gonna be tight. A Mox Diamond, sure. Bowmasters! That's Xaxes. Most unfortunate. I think if I make it through this turn, I take 4 damage, go to 4, do a chomp, play this, trade 1. No, I probably still don't get there. But it's close. So I would like 2 more copies of Crucible of Worlds, given how good that was this game. I'm really not the best at answering a Liliana. Thalia is not the best versus Bowmasters. I might be playing it anyway. The spheres are weird. When I'm on the play, I think they're perfectly valid. And then when I'm on the draw, it's like sketch. I touch the Spirit Realms, can exile opposing like Pithing Needles and Urza Sagas. I think they're fine. I maybe even should bring in 1 more. I think I punted that game by not untapping the Retrofitter on my own turn. If I want to stay threat dense to help deal with cards like Liliana, then I do something that looks like this. I can maybe trim 1 Thalia for a Solitude They're a little hard to cast, though. I think I'm okay with this. Ball Pit notably does kill my Thalias. Ancient Tomb. Pithing Needle on Liliana. Lotus Petal, Mox Opal. Metalcraft is on. 1 floating mana. Tap Thalia. I think I'm in. It's weird, though. Alright. Oh, Brian's on 5. Wow. Here we go. I think I'm doing this on Liliana rather than Urza Saga. I think that's where I'm at. Like, it sucks if Brian has Urza Saga, but I think my own Urza Sagas are relatively important in getting through Brian's stuff. Fuck. I mean, that's good. I've got a Solitude. That can help with the start of this, but this is an unfortunate situation. 2 mana to cast this, 2 mana to equip this, which means dealing 5 damage to myself. Okay. Ow. It burns. I get 3 of it back, so it's really only like taking net 2 damage to do this. Thalia is now outside of range of Bowmasters, which is nice. And we'll just kind of see what happens with this Urza Saga. My artifacts are safe from Boseiju for now. I'm fine playing out this land to save 2 life, I think. Yeah. 14. Pass turn. So I don't think I... No, you know what? I'm not going to give Brian a single extra point of life here. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, I guess I don't actually save the life by playing out that land, but I save my Lotus Petal. Take out a Construct. Got a couple bodies in play. I have a taxation effect in play. And some other small amount of value. How good is this artifact here? It is a Retrofitter Foundry on the other side of the table now, which is very good with a Construct token. Ooh. I'm going to think about this for a second. I think I'm just going to attack in with both of my things. Be okay with trading Solitude. Actually, I can do some nonsense, right? I can go ahead and do this. Exile the Retrofitter Foundry. Now this is a 2/2, which means that Thalia's first strike beats it. So I can move this here, which will open up Thalia to Bowmasters, but otherwise makes this combat more viable for me. I'll send in for 6, gain a bunch of life. Brian does not accept a block. Ho, dueling Shadow Spears it is. Understood. Crucible's not great. So I can attack in with a 4/3 Solitude and offer a trade. Or I can move to Thalia and not offer a trade. I think I don't want to offer a trade. I would also like to re-insulate Thalia from Bowmasters. Like, I know I dodged that turn. Yeah, I think I'm just attacking for 3. Game's gonna get a little weird. I don't think I want to play fully defensive right now, though. Like, I can hold back and attempt to double block the Construct token. I think this is going to be fine long term. Like, I'm setting up my Urza Sagas to be really good. I'm setting up another removal spell to be really good. I think I underestimated Solitude here. It's feeling really good right now. Maybe I get the other one in here if we go to a game 3. I also have some weird things that need to be on my radar, like another Boseiju this, mid-combat, grow this. Ooh, gotta name my Shadow Spear? I would also name your Shadow Spear, though, so... It is on Shadow Spear now. Understood. That's an Urza Saga, though. That's gonna be real good for me. Not gonna take any attacks right now. I'll just hold back. And assume that Urza Saga probably ends up doing something gross at some point. Yep, okay. That is fair. I'm gonna get 1 extra Solitude in there. We are dueling Shadowspear, Retrofitter, Foundry, Pithing Needles, .deck. What comes out? Do I, like, board out one Lotus Petal? It's a white source, and I don't really have that many white sources. The Metamorphs are weird, but probably good. I go down one Lotus Petal. I've got a weird one. I'm going to have to puzzle through this. So, Amarius Call, Turbo Muxus, imprint a white card, Mox Opal, Retrofitter Foundry, Thalia. This is probably a keep. A little land light. Okay. To play this, 3 damage to myself. Chrome Mox. I think the Solitude is currently going under. It's just my least castable card. So yeah. Retrofitter Foundry. Mox Opal. And turn 1 Thalia. Don't Bowmaster me, Brian. I will be sad. Saga. Alright. Let's try to attack. Alright. That's 18. I actually don't have the mana because of my own Thalia to just exile this as a land destruction spell. So instead, I will not use Retrofitter Foundry this turn and just Pithing Needle Urza Saga. And intend on trying to win this one with Retrofitter Foundry. I'm very happy that we dodged Bowmasters. And if I want, I can touch the Spirit Realm, the Urza Saga, so that Brian can't search. Yep. Him to Turok. Does the Solitude being... no, these are both going to graveyard. Okay. I mean, that occurs. Wasteland, sure. Alright, we are... Classic. Alright. Yeah. Send it. 16. In respect of Pithing Needle, I will just go ahead and activate this now. And this is a strange game of Magic that we are currently playing. Let's see what Brian goes and finds. I imagine it's Pithing Needle for Retrofitter Foundry. I am wrong. It is Mox Diamond. A new Urza Saga, which is still needled. Plague Engineer on human will be pretty good. Oh, on servo. That's a way to help play around Retrofitter Foundry. Oof. So, again, I am a little bit short on mana for just casting Touch the Spirit Realm. I think slightly longer term, I would like to cast it. I can cast it off a Lotus Petal next turn. So I think I'm going to go ahead and just attack in. Send it. 14. And I can also use this as a blink spell if something like a Bowmaster happens. Cards like Liliana are on the table, which can be scary. And Ashiok. That's actually really annoying right now because I'm going to lose my Lotus Petal search. Yeah. Alright. Land would be cool. That's a land. But my search is denied. Ancient Tomb. Cast Touch the Spirit Realm. Why was I thinking that this got enchantments? Let's do the Plague Engineer still. I think I just go face and leave Ashiok alone. I don't think this game is about the Ashiok denying a future Urza Saga search. Let's see if a Pithing Needle happens this time. And note that this is one-sided. Alright, there's the Pithing Needle, presumably shutting this off. Yep. I'm a little scared of a removal spell coming down on my Thalia. Like a Bowmasters or a Liliana would be very good here. Looks like we've dodged in the short term. This will help another turn down the line. At face 10. So this next turn is the turn to draw a Bowmasters. Otherwise, Thalia is immune. Also would be immune to a Plague Engineer just outright killing it as well. Ooh. There could be a sneaky Dryad Arbor in the deck. That's something that I have to keep in mind. Nope. Is it a removal spell? It is a Life from the Loam. Wasteland, Saga, and Saga. Got it. Okay, they're gonna go ahead and mill me for the purposes of Crucible. I think that's reasonable. Ooh. I mean, I'm equipping. Send that face. What is Phyrexian Metamorph right now, if it was cast? Probably is legendary, but not that. That's a Crucible. I think I am just going face, though. This game is about life totals. 3. Pass turn. Show me a removal spell. That's a new saga. There still could be a removal spell. It's more optimal to play it on my upkeep. A Boseiju could happen as well. Ooh, it is the Boseiju. Got it. I'll get a basic plains. Alright, Brian goes to 1. I can metamorph like a needle or something. Mox can't imprint metamorph. I think I'm just going to pass the turn. We'll see what the plan with this saga is. Currency converter. Absolutely. I will potentially make one of my own of those. Wasteland's fine. Alright, so here's a looting. There needs to be something to stop the Thalia. If he can stop the Thalia this turn, then there's future chump blocks that can happen. We have like a Bowmasters. We have a full price Dismember. Understood. That's happening. Chromox is a bad draw. I think I am making my own Metamorph here. Or my own currency converter. I could wait and copy a Bowmaster. I don't think that's better than just trying to find another way to win the game. Like, currency converter, making 2/2s might just win the game. Alternatively, I could just Pithing Needle currency converter and try to wait Brian out. I think I want my own. It's also some nice insulation versus a Liliana plus. Urza Saga goes off again, unable to quite do anything. I guess I have to worry about Life from the Loam getting back Boseiju. That's nice value. Maybe I Pithing Needle and name Boseiju, actually. Yeah, I think that was my line. Yeah. Yep, I think I punted. So Boseiju on the other currency converter. Yeah, great value here. I don't have another planes. Now Urza Saga gets to start going off. This Crucible is incredibly awkward because I don't have a land in graveyard. So Brian can just blow it up before I get my value. But there's to be fair, there's a lot of targets for this. And block might start to be real here. Although I think the Urza Saga just kind of ends up winning things. Alright, a new Loam. Take Numa. Okay. The Urza Sagas are coming. Wasteland is a thing. I think I will Wasteland this Urza Saga to keep it from going up. Call that a turn. Doesn't really solve the problems that I have. Alright. I lose this. And I think Brian will kill me before time is up. Because this Urza Saga can just make some tokens. Alright. My graveyard has been cleansed for the purposes of Crucible. And this whole Life from the Loam Boseiju loop thing is going to continue. Yeah, I think I definitely punted by not needling Boseiju. I can play this out. It's medium to do so. It is just going to get Wastelanded and then Ashiok minused out of existence. Yeah. But these tokens are large. They are going to kill me quickly. I got stuck on Chrome Box in here. I think the loss is my fault, though, for not needling Boseiju. Maybe the currency converter still buries me, because like my draws were very mediocre. Yeah. Strong. Yeah, so I'm just going to eat 10 this turn and lethal the following turn. Oh, I'll eat 11 this turn, making a treasure. Yeah, that's fine. 12. Got it. I'm at 5. And then I lose the Urza Saga from graveyard. Yeah, I can play Athalia to block or Solitude one thing, but it is not going to do it. I will concede. GG. All right, Brian, that was a lot of fun. Congrats. You take it down very narrowly this time. I'm really happy with those games. I think we picked some very similar power level decks, and decisions matter. Those were so close.
Yeah, that was super tight. The in After match one, which even though it was a slaughter, it was close, and I think showcased some of what the match is about. Like that game two, where I put you off balance and dropped a Murktide, and then your two draw steps were Ancient Tomb, Spirit Guide, Bombardiers, or the three cards I didn't know about in that game. So like narrowly escaped with that one, and that was closer than it may have looked from the 4 minute runtime of the match or whatever. And then the other two, we just went to the bottom of our clocks in both of them. So money's worth from our viewers and from our donor on that one.
Yeah. So like conceptually, the match one, the Goblins versus Sultai Beanstalk. I expected those games to be a little longer, honestly. Like short runtime, but generally speaking, like you have Wastelands, you have, Days, Hydroblast, some number of Dismember, Fatal Push type cards. I expected at some point I was going to like Muxus, and that would be the way that I ended up tipping the scales, but that didn't happen this time.
Didn't need it. But the game match two, the Nic Fit versus Sharkstill was a lot of fun. Just tons of decisions there. That game where you choked me, and then I had to decide, like, am I going to fight over choke or deal with some of these problem permanents and deal with choke later or whatever. That was white knuckle down to the end. If you watch my side on the other end of this, you'll see me saying, like, come on, Shark Typhoon, come on, Timeless Dragon, anything to get the staff going just a little bit here. And I just like found it right on time.
Yeah, I don't remember if it was game one or game two, but I was sitting with an Assassin's Trophy, staring down your Narset at 3 loyalty and the staff. And I had a Greater Gargadon in my hand that was just a dead card. And it was like, this is a damned if I do, damned if I don't spot. Like, I really want to get rid of this Greater Gargadon. It's just not going to do anything in this match. But if I leave the staff and I don't close out the game in the next 3 or 4 turns, it's going to be awful. And spoiler, it was bad.
Right. Yep. Yeah, you suspended that Greater Gargadon, and I just looked at my board in hand, and I was like, I don't care about this card at all. I'm a token deck full of instant speed removal. Like that's not what this one's about for sure.
Yeah, I think I punted the last game. I should have Phyrexian Metamorphed, Pithing Needle, and named Boseiju, so you didn't get that engine online. The currency converter probably would have beaten me. I bottomed out. I had a bunch of copies of Chrome Mox and an uncastable Solitude in my hand at the end. I just couldn't quite get over.
Yeah, I talked about that on my side where it's like, what are you even going to do here? Because I either Boseiju whatever you name, or you name Boseiju and I just keep grinding with currency converter. And it turned out you're probably right. You should have taken your chances versus converter. That Boseiju did end up being just bonkers, lights out over time. I think it took me one turn too long to realize that you controlled the needle on Saga. I forgot in the mix of all the needles. For some reason, I thought I was going to have to win it with rogues, or I had in my head that I can release my Plague Engineer whenever I need to out of your O-ring. Yeah, but then I was like, oh yeah, that's his needle, and just won the game immediately when my Sagas were free.
Yeah, that last match was really awkward because you just have no real Phyrexian Metamorph targets in terms of like things that are going to help me close out the game.
Right.
So like I was like, do I save this Metamorph for like a billion turns until he puts a Bowmasters in play, and that's how I get my last point of damage across? There were some weird decisions in these games.
Yeah, and I noticed too that your deck in the final round was so good at having artifact mana that Wasteland and Smallpox hurt me more than you in almost all situations. And you also have Crucible of Worlds for the rare situation where Wasteland's good. It was just structurally well built against Pox in a way that was really weird and annoying.
I had a weird thing. So in match 2 when I was playing Nic Fit, I like looked at the matchup and went like, do I just cut the entire Nic Fit package? And I ended up cutting Cabal Therapies and all but one of the Veteran Explorers because your white removal was just going to be so good versus them. And I just became very threat dense. It didn't quite work out, but it felt like you were just under constant pressure. And I'm happy with the strategy.
Yeah, and hearing that makes me extra tilted because I brought in Rest in Peace for game 2 and then realized it was bad for game 3 after I had already hit submit, and I was currently dragging it out of my deck when Moto submitted for game 3, and then I just had this shitty Rest in Peace in hand for the whole game. I had a wide open board to play it on, but I realized it was going to hurt me and my Timeless Dragons and my Hall of Heliod more than it was going to hurt your stupid thing that I don't even care about. And that one, I looked at that card for several turns before I could brainstorm it away in that tight game 3 stretch where it was like, whoever finds like the first relevant spell here wins. And I had stupid Rest in Peace in my hand. So your sideboard plan did pay off there. It was better than mine.
Yeah. I think today's matches are a great way of like showing you how awesome and intricate Legacy can be, even when you aren't necessarily just jamming with the most optimized decks. I know a lot of times we get focused on, you know, top 8 this, Legacy challenge that, but, you know, for the people who are slinging spells at their FNMs, as long as you're playing decks that are of a reasonable and appropriate power level to each other, you can do a lot of really silly and fun things in the Legacy card pool.
Yep, we're all playing Legacy, is what I like to remind people when someone's like, oh, I just lost a Pox. It's like, yeah, well, that deck has Dark Ritual, Hymn to Turok, Thoughtseize in it. The floor's pretty high on any bad matchup when you can do that with your deck.
Yeah, when you Dark Ritual Liliana'd me and I was sitting and looking at Sphere of Resistance, I was just like, oh no, bro, this is not going to work out for me this time.
Yeah, if I was going to win the die roll in one of our 3 matches, I'm glad it was that one.
All right, Brian, any closing thoughts here?
No, this was fun. Thanks again to our anonymous donor for making it happen. I do like the invitation once in a while to do something different and line up our schedules and be a little goofy for a few hours.
Yeah, no, this was a lot of fun. My only regret is that you called dibs on Pox first.
I did. Well, although we both have a claim to it in the greater Legacy universe, I think is there like a Pox and You or anything? Like, because there's BoshNRoll that is a sub thread on my channel. Do you have a punny name with Pox?
I don't have a funny name for it. I feel like you have the claim to fame for Loam Pox, and I'm in the mono black camp solidly when it comes to Pox.
Oh, we should have done Loam Pox versus mono black Pox. You would have lost so hard.
It would not have been fun. Would not have been balanced.
Nope. Well, you got to play Thalia, Guardian of Thraben, a card that I did roll my eyes, groan, and say, grow up, Phil, when you cast it in game 2. That did happen. So yeah, we both lived up to our brand.
So for the people who only watch your side, and like, please consider checking out our other sides. There's going to be a lot of really neat things on both sides. In the original list, that was Chancellor of the Annex, and I was just like, how's a body? How is an actual castable body? And I subbed in Thalia. Like, I knew it would be bad versus Bowmasters, but it looked pretty good in the matches as they played out.
I spent a long time in our 3rd set saying, if I can answer this Thalia in 5 draw steps, I win. And I would not have cared about Chancellor of the Annex at all.
Yep.
So, good job.
All right. With that being said, folks, I hope you all enjoyed, and this was a pleasure. Brian, I hope you have a great rest of the day, and great rest of the day, the rest of you viewers as well.
Goodbye.